Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we have a coffee request from Denmark. If you want to request a video, click over here or go over to Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the pinned comments, and thank you for your support. Guys, I'm actually trying to do something here on the channel where I upload a video from each Nordic country per hour. So 8 a.m. would be Sweden, 9 a.m. would be Denmark, 10 a.m. would be Norway. And we have a lot more Norwegian videos here, so 11 and 12 would also be Norway. Or if we get Finland and stuff like that also, that would be an interesting thing to do, because I'm posting 5 videos a day. We don't have a lot of requests from Finland or Iceland or... did I miss any? There are 5, right? Finland, Iceland... Oh yeah, okay. I did say all 5 of them. Faroe Island. Okay. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe. And this request comes from Cecilia, who says, these last 2 videos, because she requested 10 videos, so the last 2 videos are essentially just about confused Danes. One about the highest point in Denmark, and the other one about the timekeeping in Denmark. So today we're going to do the highest point in Denmark, and on the next video, which you should subscribe so that you can't miss it, will be about, what was it again? I just read it. Timekeeping. Okay, let's go.
Hello!
Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to the channel, which is the Tim Traveler. Tim Traveler.
And good day. It's winter, it's a Monday morning, and I'm standing at a T-junction in the middle of the Danish countryside. And let's face it, you all know why I'm here.
Ris.
Denmark is the country with the lowest...
Isn't rice? Or am I tripping? This is rice, isn't it? Or am I tripping?
And let's face it, you all know why I'm here. Denmark is the country with the highest point of any country in Europe, aside from the micro-states of Monaco and Vatican City. In fact, Denmark's highest point is so small that they've spent years trying to find it. Originally, everyone agreed it was here, but then they realized, oh no, actually it's here, before someone said, no you idiots, it's there, and then there was a long argument about whether it was here or there, before they decided, no, actually it was here all along, until they checked it again in 2005, and discovered it was neither here nor there. But how can it be this difficult to find your highest point? Or
Guys, so this is a huge contrast with Norway. That's why you guys keep saying about, you know, high mountains in Norway and stuff like that. That is so cool. It's such a low point that you don't know which one is the highest. Okay, let's find out.
Does the point actually change? Does it somehow move around the country? Well, let's climb it and find out.
Maybe it's the snow.
Welcome to the highest mountain in Denmark.
For some reason, have you guys watched Severance? For some reason, this reminded me of the Severance scene where he says, this is the highest waterfall in the world. So let's see the highest mountain in Denmark.
So the plan this morning was to get a train from Aarhus to Skanderborg.
Our house?
And then the bus from Skanderborg to a place called Tebstrup, and then walk from there. But the train was late, which meant that I missed the bus and had to get a taxi from Skanderborg.
Taxi in Denmark
so
must be
I could have got the
so
taxi
expensive.
straight to the top of the hill. That felt a little bit like cheating. So I got it to drop me here in a place called...
Henoik, I was going to ask about lowlands, right? I was going to ask about Netherlands, and you're telling me Denmark is actually flatter than the Netherlands? Wow.
Ries. And we're going to climb the mountain from here.
In other words, we're going to be attempting a winter ascent of the east face of the mountain. But before we start, I just want to clear up a little bit of pedantry. We are going to be climbing the highest point in Denmark, but it's not the highest point that Denmark possesses. Officially, the Kingdom of Denmark also includes the Faroe Islands and Greenland, both of which have much higher peaks than what we're climbing today. So we're climbing the highest point in metropolitan Denmark, the Denmark that most people mean when they say Denmark.
Not a lot going on in Reeth.
And as we leave the village behind, the road starts to climb sharply upwards, and we're now hitting the lower slopes of the mountain itself.
Now, there has been some criticism on these videos from a few people who claim that I keep saying things are mountains when they're not really mountains. So, this is the mountain.
Where? Wait, what?
Okay, I admit, having now seen the mountain, I'm beginning to understand why they had trouble finding it. So how is this the highest point in the whole country? Surely the Danes have got something bigger. Well, they sort of
because
do.
you went up.
This is the much more impressive looking Himmelberg, and for hundreds of years, it was considered to be Denmark's highest mountain. In fact, the name translates into English as the Sky Mountain or the Mountain of Heaven. Guess I'm not the only one who calls everything a mountain. And the climb from the lake at the bottom up to the tower at the top is over 120 meters. For a Swiss person, that's a walk to the shops. But in Denmark, that's unrivaled. No other hill on the Danish mainland can compete with that kind
Wow.
of climb or the views that you get from the top. But in the 1800s, during one of the biggest shake-ups the world of mountain measuring has ever seen, Himmelberg...
I love that. The soundtrack of this is "Heaven is a place on earth," because literally it's flat, so it's closer to the earth than it is actually to the sky. And he's saying that this is the heaven or the sky mountain.
lost its title. And who was to blame? That's right, the British. And
Wait, sorry, I missed that part. What happened?
For a Swiss person, that's a walk to the shops. But in Denmark, that's unrivaled. No other hill on the Danish mainland can compete with that kind of climb or the views that you get from the top. But in the 1800s, during one of the biggest shake-ups the world of mountain measuring has ever seen, Himmelberg lost its title. And who was to blame? That's right, the British. And specifically an engineer called John Augustus Lloyd. I propose that from now on, we should measure all elevation not in terms of height from top to bottom, but in terms of height above the level of the sea. To be clear, Lloyd was not talking about Denmark there. He was more interested in the level of the River Thames. But his idea of measuring elevation from sea level spread around the world, and it didn't take long to reach here. Between 1847 and 1875, Danish surveyors went out and made new measurements around the country. They discovered that the 147-meter summit of Himmelberg was only the fourth highest point in the country. And first place went to the 172-meter Ejer, which I hope I'm pronouncing somewhere near correctly, because it turns out Ejer is just up this road. And this is what it looks like. It's got a great big tower, built in 1924 to commemorate the end of World War I, an information kiosk, toilets, ample parking space, and a stone engraved with the words, "You have now reached the highest point in Denmark." The only problem is, you haven't. And that's because of a monumental cock-up. During the construction of the tower, the builders had first excavated and removed a Bronze Age burial mound that previously lay on the summit. Not only was this somewhat distressing for local archaeologists, it also meant they'd shaved nearly 2 meters off the top of the hill. And that was a problem, because just 3 kilometers northwest of here is another hill called Uding, which is also a Bronze Age burial site, and because it still had a burial mound on top of its summit, it was now 1 meter taller than Ejer.
Why would they do that, though?
From what I can tell, no one actually noticed this for a few years, but when they did, it started a massive argument about which one was really Denmark's highest mountain. One side argued that Uding was the highest, because fundamentally it was, and the other side argued that no, Ejer is still the highest because the burial mound is man-made and only the natural part of the hill should count. And it didn't end there. At one point, the astronomer Carl Luplau Janssen waded in to say, "I've done my own research, and I can tell you Udingskohøj is higher even without the burial mound." To which the Ejerbauerhøj fan club replied, "Well, why don't you move the tower there?" In all honesty, I'm not sure if Carl was being serious or just trolling everyone, but what I can tell you is that the tower is still here.
I wonder if this is open.
What do you guys think?
Ooh.
I think it...
So the tower may not have moved, but the argument raged on for years, and it was only when the National Geodetic Institute stepped in 1953 that it was finally settled. They ruled that only the highest natural point of each hill should count.
Wait,
and
you
they were
can
going
just
to use
walk
their
in
latest
there?
instruments to measure both summits and deliver a final verdict once and for all. And when the results came in, Ejerbauerhøj reclaimed the title by just 6 centimeters.
Wow.
So this is officially
That's average, though.
Denmark's highest natural point. Or at least it was until 2005, when they realized that that farm over there is very slightly higher. So I guess I have to go over there now.
And as we wander over to
Goodness,
the
guys.
farm, I think we may have uncovered the mystery of the moving mountain.
They keep
Basically,
changing.
there are 3 hills around here, which are all within a few centimeters of each other in terms of elevation. And it only takes a small inaccuracy in the calculations, or a careless construction crew, or even just a bit of erosion over the years, to change which one is the highest mountain in Denmark. But for now, it's this one.
Here we go.
Bistig
Mølhøj.
Mølhøj.
Or in English, Mill Hill.
But this does kind of raise the question, is Mølhøj still the highest? Has anyone checked recently? By the time you're watching this video, it could have changed again. For all I know, the farmer might plough the field tomorrow and accidentally give Denmark a new highest point. But until then, this is it.
I'm gonna do this properly.
170, 86 meters. I mean, if it's all near each other, then you can just say the whole area is the highest point.
Oh, and by the way, when they made those new measurements in 2005, they also downgraded Ejerbauerhøj, putting it in 3rd place behind Udingskohøj.
Wow.
Yep, turns out that crank Carl Luplau Janssen was right the whole time.
Hey.
If you'd like to climb 2 of Denmark's 3 highest points, and the 3rd one isn't far away if you want to go for the hat trick, the easiest option is to drive straight here and park at Ejerbauerhøj. Otherwise, it's a 40-minute hike uphill from the bus stop in Tebstrup, which is served by the number 170 from Skanderborg. And Skanderborg is only a 15-minute train ride from Denmark's second city, Aarhus. Also, it's worth mentioning the tower has a lift if you want to avoid those steps up to the top. And that's about it for today. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.
That was a great video, great informative video. Okay, so let me get this straight. Obviously, it counts, like a few meters or a few centimeters will count. But does it really stir up a lot of discussion? Do people actually like? Because he said that there was a fan club. There's a full fan club for the highest point. That's so crazy, but it's cool at the same time. And 170 meters is not too tall, is it? Dang. These are things that are really, really interesting because there's not a clear-cut answer. It's a discussion that we still don't know if that's true. So this is what he said the top 3 are, but that's not even 100% accurate because it's been a while since anybody has measured it. That's crazy, isn't it? Thank you, Cecilia, for sharing this with me. Okay, wait, there's more. Like, there's a pinned comment. Please note, Thanks to a schoolboy error, this video didn't get published to your subscriber feeds. Okay, that's something else. This is something else. But I wonder if they do another calculation today, if it's gonna change again. But hey, it's all in the same area, so that would be interesting if you guys go there and you can just see all the 3 sites. To be fair, as someone who isn't from that part of the country, I don't really care much. I just find it funny. But I'd bet that the people from the area are arguing about it. Yeah. No, honestly, like it is something that people will definitely fight over. Now, my mountain is bigger than your mountain. But it's so funny. It is interesting. And I like how you introduced this video, Cecilia. It's a video about Danes being confused. That's funny. But okay. And then other countries come in, like Switzerland, and they're like, you know, we have tall mountains. Like, but then I think this is a discussion also within the Nordic countries. Like Norway says, oh, we have the tallest mountains. And then Denmark is like, yeah, but we have the best beaches and stuff like that, right? And then Sweden's like, oh, we have the best trees. I don't know. It's interesting. What do you guys talk about when you get united? What do you guys fight over? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to request a video like Cecilia did, go over to Buy Me a Coffee. Click over here. Or click over here to see my educational playlist or my Denmark playlist, whichever one is showing to you. And I'll see you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.